thoughts that you think today create the outcome tomorrow. Are things progressing? Are they flatlining? Are they stagnated? Or are they regressing? And if there's no physical issues, it has to be a mental issue. If we are losing momentum or we're in a slump of any kind, the first thing is awareness of it. We actually have to admit to ourselves that we're stuck, we're flatlining, something's happening, our results are going backwards, something's not working, right? And one of the things that we do as humans is we have a protection mechanism that we do everything we can to protect our image of ourselves, our self-esteem, our ego, and our emotions. So how often do we tell ourselves things that are just simply not true through personal deception? Like, I don't have enough time. How often do you hear that one? Yet everybody else in the world that seemed to become successful before you had the same amount of time each day. Or I've tried everything, right? You hear that one a lot. I've tried everything and nothing works. And then you ask the person, well, do you know what the capping revenue share amount is for the third tier agent? Can you explain KV Core in detail or the Icon program? And they can't do it. So have you tried everything? You haven't even tried learning the business model, right? So there's lots of times we tell ourselves that we're trying, we tell ourselves that we're working hard. Let's say we're working 12, 16-hour days, but are we putting 12, 16 hours into income-producing activities, or are we present in the space of work? Meaning, are we at the office, moving around, going to the refrigerator, taking time to watch the TV in and out, right? So the biggest thing that I think entrepreneurs have to do, it's a tough thing, but it's the self-acceptance that who we are today is a self-constructed result of a life's overall macro decisions, ideas, and thoughts that have been acted on. So this is one of the famous sayings that changed the way I looked at life a lot, which is we are all self-made, but only the successful ones of us will admit it. This is Earl Nightingale's saying. And what that means is every one of us, whether we're wealthy or poor, in great shape or not great shape, happy relationships, positive relationships or bad relationships, everything is here in our life, the environment that we live in, because of the decisions that we made. And he's saying that successful people have no problem admitting this because they have the life that they're proud of. But when we don't have a life that we're proud of, we don't want to admit it, which is where I was at a big part of my life. And then this last line down here, does your thinking create your environment, or does your environment create your thinking? Meaning just the thoughts that you think today create the outcome tomorrow. The house, the cars, the girlfriend, the boyfriend, the life, or is it your environment? Is it the president? Is it the real estate market? Is it the company you're at? Is it the partners you joined? Is it the sky color? Is it a bird outside that's too loud today, annoying you, right? Is it the external environment that's causing you to think the thoughts you're thinking, or are the thoughts you're thinking inside creating the environment around you? First thing is, after we have the awareness that we have an issue and that we're kind of stalling out or something's not working, we need to identify what's going on. So here's some of the questions to ask yourself. How am I doing right now in comparison to how I was doing last year? Do I tell myself the truth, or do I lie to myself to protect my emotions? What caused the change in results? What did I stop or start doing differently? And then ask yourself always this question: where am I at currently tracking in life and business? And you can do this on a micro, macro level. Macro level is your entire life. Micro is like my fitness, my health. Micro would be my relationships, but you can micro that, meaning my relationship with just my parents, my relationship with just my kids, or my relationship with just my business partners. So constantly look at your life and figure out where you're at. Are things progressing? Are they flatlining? Are they stagnated? Or are they regressing? And look at the patterns of how, when you move time from one area of your life to your business, how sometimes your relationships stagnate or regress. And then when you go back to putting time in your relationships, what happens to your business? So this is work-life, family-life balance, everything that we always try to figure out. But ultimately, progress creates happiness, which is Tony Robbins' famous saying. And so the more that we're in a progressive mindset or progressive movement, the better and the more fulfilled our life's going to be. So now that we know we're losing momentum or we lost it, what's the next thing we need to do? So we need to identify what actually caused the momentum break. But how do we actually do this? So you guys know Ed Milet. He is actually coming to do the shareholder speech, which is pretty cool. So he'll be at shareholders. I'll be there as well. Looking forward to seeing you guys. So Ed Milet's known for one of his examples of what he calls the echo effect. And his echo effect example is essentially the actions or risk or investments of time, money, emotion, whatever we put into our life today, consistently over the next 90 to 180 days in life, they're going to show up. So if you're in good shape, change your diet. Now you're going to be in bad shape. If you're treating someone with respect, honor, and doing the right thing by them, showing up on time, and then all of a sudden you flip that, you're late to everything, you're rude to them, what do you think is going to happen? 90 to 108 days later, you're going to have less friends, or you're going to look not the same, and you're going to weigh a lot more on the scale, right? So essentially what this means is, when we're having problems at the present moment today, we need to go back 180 days and study that window of our business to see where the problem started. It's not what we're dealing with right now. It's an echo effect, meaning it's a result of things that happened previously. So many times we're looking at problems today and think they're direct results of things that happened just directly today. So start looking back, 3, 4, 5, 6 months ago. Where did you start to see things kind of change? Or did you start doing anything different? Now, while we're on the echo effect, I'm gonna give you a couple of echo effects here, just on random things, but this could help for business. So another echo effect that you can think of is opportunities in business that come back to us. So in the business of sales, this is very important to understand. So for example, we use the term boomerang agent. A lot of agents leave and come back because people, what do? When they get frustrated, they blame the environment. not themselves. And this is why nothing ever changes unless the environment keeps changing. But what happens is they move to the new environment and they realize nothing's changed. And then they realize that the grass wasn't greener, and sometimes they come back. But if you burn that bridge in sales or business, if you give that person an attitude on the way out, or kind of give them that, good luck or F you or whatever, right? They will never come back to you. So think about business opportunities that can come back. And the way that they come back is the way that you let them leave you. Meaning, how do you handle a sale that doesn't go through? How do you handle a call that doesn't work out? Or how do you handle a client that's going to go list with somebody else? Because what if they go list with somebody else, they don't get it sold, and you treated them with respect and honor and wish them good and that it does go well, and then they can't sell it? What do you think they're going to do? They're most likely to come back to you. And then the third echo effect down there is the opportunity to look for new systems, new technologies, new things that are happening out there. Whenever you hear the echo effect, meaning ChatGPT, you're hearing it everywhere, or when EXP came out or anything like that. Anytime you're hearing a person's name, a service, a system, it means there's attention on it. It doesn't mean it's something to use or to adopt or purchase. It just means to put some attention on it because there is attention on it. What causes momentum breaks and slumps? So what actually needs to change? Have you ever really thought about it? We don't really even think about a lot of times when we actually get inside of a slump. We don't even really acknowledge it, right? So here's something that may be interesting, or something that's kind of curious for you to think about. How does an athlete get into a slump if they are still just as strong, just as fast? They got the same jersey on, it weighs the same amount, the same shoes, nothing's changed with their outfit. Their skill sets could have dropped in the matter of like a 2 to 4 week window. They haven't had any injuries. So if nothing physical's changed and the skill sets are the same, it has to be mental, right? So if you knew what you did just recently and you knew what you need to do and everything is working in sports or business and now it's not, what does that mean? If there's no physical issues, it has to be a mental issue. So we need to identify where we're wrong, where we're off on our mindset. So it's a mindset or thinking process issue. Is it a self-esteem issue? Did you lose belief in yourself? Is it that you're talking bad to yourself and hurting yourself by bringing your self-esteem down? Is it a belief issue, meaning belief in the vehicle that you're driving? Is it that you don't believe in real estate anymore, or EXP anymore, or selling insurance, or selling widgets, or whatever it is? Is it a belief in the environment, the vehicle, the partners, the belief of something external? So self-esteem is the belief within. Talking about belief on line 2 is the belief without or outside, external. Is it a work ethic thing? Is it because you used to work, 60, 80-hour weeks and now you're only doing 20, 30? Did you back off a little bit? Because if you did, that's fine. It's okay to back off. It's just not okay to put the pressure on yourself to have the same success as when you're working harder. That's the problem. So a lot of times we take the foot off the pedal and we break momentum and our incomes drop or something negative comes from it. And we feel entitled to the money that we had when we were working 2-3 times as many hours. And that's where the frustration comes in. So many times I've done this where I've convinced myself I was working really, really hard. And then when I really studied my day, I'm like, man, I just bounced around a lot today. I really didn't move the needle forward. I was just filling my day with filler activities just to pretend that I was working, but I wasn't actually intentful about moving the business forward, actually gaining ground, moving the ball down the field, because we can distract ourselves all day. And this is a very big problem in entrepreneurship in a distracted world where we can just sit there and pretend we're working, but if we're not creating value for the marketplace, nothing's happening. And then there could be an external disruption down there. Think about the pandemic. Something coming in. This could be a death of a friend or family member, something that could come in and shift your mindset off where you're just not as hopeful about life or happy, right? So when we have issues and we're not doing as well, or something when we're doing well and it slows down, we need to figure out where we're at and what's going on in life and what could be causing this. So I'd go back in your past a little bit, look at all your winning periods of life and the losing periods and study those times. What were you doing? What was your habits? What was your day structure like? Were you going to the gym more? Were you eating differently? Were you hydrating more? Were you stretching? Were you working out? Were you spending more time with a mentor? Were you going to calls, plugging in? Were you plugging into calls all the time and then you stopped plugging in and results failed? Were you meeting with your sponsor and your partners and doing things locally and everybody's doing well and all of a sudden you stopped? So think about when things were going well and write these things down and study them and say, okay, how can I reintroduce this back into my business? And then look for the bad ones. Now, this is something to think about here.